Welcome to USTC360. I'm Ginger Chang. Today, our feature takes us to Santa Ana in Orange County, where Tzu Chi volunteers have been carrying out the Happy Campus program at 2 of the city's primary schools. Despite the perceived affluence of certain cities in the OC, such as Irvine, the poverty figures reflect a different story below the surface. In the Santa Ana Unified School District alone, the poverty rate is 19.8%. I'm very happy to have Kate Axelrod, who is here to share with us her own experiences in assisting low-income families in New York City. Welcome, Kate.
Thank you.
So first off, can you tell us how you became involved in what you do?
Yeah, about 4 years ago, I started working for a nonprofit in Manhattan that worked with homeless individuals. We canvassed New York City streets looking for homeless people, and we started engaging them and working with them toward getting housing. And that just led to other opportunities for me. And I'm in graduate school for social work right now.
Wow.
And that has offered me an opportunity to work with low-income families, particularly mothers and children in Brooklyn.
In America, it's often easy to overlook families that are struggling, especially in certain neighborhoods. Then how would you define a low-income family in America today?
Technically, the federal poverty line right now, if you're a family of 4, for instance, is at about $23,000. And that really sets the bar for what kind of programs you're entitled to, what kind of benefits you can get. And in order to be considered low income, you have to fall 200% below that.
What is the tipping point that would actually bring a family from doing okay to having completely nothing and struggling?
Well, like I said, a lot of the families that I was working with and I continue to work with were living well below the poverty line to begin with. But I think generally that can look like, losing a job or, losing daycare opportunities for your children, and then you have to subsequently quit your job because no one can take care of your child, or losing funding for a program. If you lose a voucher program that pays your rent and that program goes away, then you're stuck.
Well, you bring up a really good point about the children, because the students in our first segment of Romero-Cruz and George Washington School, they rely on the subsidized school meals during the weekdays.
Right.
But during the weekends, getting enough food is a challenge. So our volunteers have been going every Friday, bringing them food, and for them to bring home for the weekend.
That's great.
So let's go meet the dedicated team of Tzu Chi's Orange County volunteers.
This is actually one of the poorest neighborhoods in Santa Ana, and actually in Orange County. They've done some demographic studies, and a couple of years ago, the 92703 zip code was the poorest actually in Orange County. So the families and the students are in need of some help, and every kind of help that you can imagine. Around here in the neighborhood, there's homes where there's 2 or 3 families. I have several students, several families in my classroom where they're renting a garage.
And we've been struggling, it's been tough for us. 2 years in a row with money situation, clothes situation.
这个城市是叫 Santa Ana. 是在城县这边。
This city is Santa Ana, which is located in Orange County. 5 miles away to the southeast is the city of Irvine. Irvine is the richest city in the county, and everyone wants to move to the school district there. But in Santa Ana, 99% of population are Mexicans. They occupy most of the population. There are 2 schools in 1 kilometer, and they have roughly 1,000 students.
学生。
You kidding me, Anna? You just
在大概6、7年前，小葛师兄。
About 6 or 7 years ago, Brother Martin became acquainted with the school principal at the time. So we started the winter distribution here and got to know this school. Last September, we started the Happy Campus Food Bags program at this school. The principal selected 42 students, all from low-income families. Every Friday at around 2 p.m., our Orange County chapter would come to distribute food bags.
我们就在这边来发放食物背包。
Anthony Cortez.
Recently, we have been able to turn to the food bank for supplies, so we feel very happy. For canned food, we pay only 6 cents to 8 cents per pound.
What we have here at the food bank, the shop, the area where you can shop and get the food, it's donated food area, and we have a lot of produce, but it's for everybody. But we do have a CSFP food program that is for women and children and seniors 60 and over who are low income. They will get a box once a month with commodities, USDA commodities, to help supplement their income.
The Garden Grove Food Bank.
We come to the Garden Grove Food Bank to volunteer the third Saturday of every month. Over 30 people come here to pack the food. This food pack is for low-income seniors.
Low-income senior, the food pack.
We do have a lot of organizations that come in over and sign up and come over and pack food. But like I said, we also have a lot of church groups that come over, and you'll see the persons picking up the food. Those are actually volunteers from the church that come over and do the hard work that we can't do. La sushi, yes.
Since we had the food bank, we have had the confidence to choose more schools for the Happy Campus food bags. I go to the food bank Friday mornings to pick up fresh fruits and bread.
It's only through sustained volunteer effort at every part of the process that can consistently deliver this much needed food distributions every week, rain or shine. Over 1,400 backpacks were given to Romero-Cruz elementary students last school year. The effort lasted over 1,600 volunteer hours and took place at the schools themselves and at the Irvine Tzu Chi headquarters. There, donated and store-bought consumables are shelved and inventoried. Bags are packed for the individual students' needs and checked with great love and care.
Tomato sauce. 有到bean, 不同的 corns.
These are the canned foods we bought from the food bank.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 food packs.
这样子，我们在差不多12点钟，我们会
At around 11 or 12 a.m., we will come to the chapter office and count the food packs in this way. There are a total of 40 bags of food. Because we bring them to the school, we'll tie these bags together in threes and put 3 bags in one box.
然后放进去。
Romero-Cruz is the first of 6 schools that Tzu Chi Irvine is currently assisting, with hopes to expand to even more campuses, because one's economic opportunities is greatly improved by education, but learning cannot take place if a child is distracted with hunger pains.
Happy Campus program actually involves quite a lot. Backpack distribution is only one of the programs. And for our programs now concentrate on the food distribution every Friday, as long as a student comes to the school.
Our volunteer team is just like a family, so we support each other as a family, and it is very harmonious. As you can see today, Charlie and John are the hosts, to let them build up their confidence. Sister John says she can make a billboard for Jingsi aphorism to teach the kids here, so I let her try it. Everyone has a new method, so the students can learn our Tzu Chi humanistic culture in fresh ways, so everyone stays engaged and remain involved in Tzu Chi.
有兴趣做的话，他会留下来做慈济。
I mean, I grew up here, I know it's hard, and that's why I decided to go to college. I didn't get help when I was younger. It's nice to come back to my community and see that someone else is helping, so maybe I can join and help too. Yeah, I was really happy to see the students coming excited, you know, because they were going to receive help, and I liked the way you guys were teaching the students how to take care of the earth and how to give back.
G, use the right hand.
Wonderful.
When they told me about that my daughter was chosen for this, for today, it was a great emotion on me. Like, I feel like, damn, you know, there's good people in this world that it's gonna help us. Oh, she loves to come to school. She loves her homework. She always asks me, Daddy, I want to do my homework. I go, okay. So I try to help her with homework wherever I can, and try to do the best as a daddy, because it's not easy to be a daddy.
我们跟像去年的那些42位小朋友。
For example, we have spent 1 year together with the 42 students from last year's program that will finish the program this year in June, but we feel so reluctant to part with them. The students have also become attached to us, and they have hugged us and cried. Before our new volunteers come to the school and give the food to the children with their own hands, it's hard to have imagined that feeling, so we attract a lot of new volunteers to come to participate. Tzu Chi volunteers feel that it's worthy work and are able to pass Master Zheng Yan's teachings.
我们把上人的法传给他们。
Please help me welcome Ms. Kimberly Avari, Principal of Romero-Cruz and Carver Elementary School.
At this time, I'd like to share how your foundation has helped so very many of our families. What the Tzu Chi Foundation has brought to our campuses has been an abundance of hope. There was a time just a few years ago that our two schools were seen as failing schools by the federal government. Last year, Romero-Cruz, our 4th and 5th grade campus, was recognized as a Title I high-achieving school, which shows children in poverty can achieve. And last November, the Orange County Register named both of our schools Silver Award winners, competing with schools in Irvine. Thank you. They competed with schools in all of Orange County, Irvine, Saddleback Valley, Mission Viejo, and they came in 28th and 32nd out of the 393 elementary schools. That was a huge accomplishment for our school and our community.
Before the economic recession of 2007 to 2009, U.S. Census figures show that there were already 36.5 million people living in poverty. Currently, 46.2 million people are in poverty, and out of those figures, more than 1 in 5 are children. The Urban Policy Institute also reports that children born into poverty are more likely to have worse adult outcomes than their peers in high-income families. Kate, clearly poverty should not be a life sentence, but why is it so difficult for the second generation to break away from the cycle of poverty?
Unfortunately, education plays a huge part in this, and 85% of children who grow up in poverty, their parents don't have a high school diploma. So this means that a lot of parents work full-time, sometimes multiple jobs, low-paying jobs to make ends meet. So that means that children don't have great supervision, they don't have people to help them with their homework, they don't have people to mentor them and to inspire them to do work. And I think that can be a really big struggle. And additionally, if you live in a low-income neighborhood, instead of working, so many hours, making $7 or $8 an hour, other opportunities come up, like being involved in drug dealing and things like that. And then once you get involved in the criminal justice system, it's really, really difficult to break free of that. It's not to say that it can't happen. People work really hard and are able to, rise above these issues, but it's definitely a struggle, and society doesn't make it any easier.
Well, our volunteers, they see the struggles that you've seen yourself, but yet both of you guys remain strong-willed. So let's go meet one of the faculty members who believe the Happy Campus program is a continual need for the students.
I like it because soon we're gonna do a science class, and at the end of 5th grade, they're gonna do a science CST. So that's gonna help a lot with the CST that we're gonna have.
What's the CST?
The State California test.
The neighborhood that we're in here at Romero-Cruz has been called the poorest socioeconomic neighborhood in the city of Santa Ana. We work with students who come to us eager to learn with high hope and lots of dreams, and their home life is pretty hard for the most part.
Some challenges that I have noticed here in the city of Santa Ana, just working in this community predominantly, there's a lot of families where there's single homes and there's multiple families living in these homes, and it's not until you really understand the living situation of a lot of these students do you understand why are they being successful or not being as successful as other students.
I've had to walk a student home before, many years ago. Mom never showed up. We made several phone calls and no one came, so another teacher and I walked the student home, and the garage door was open. His family had one side of the garage, a two-car garage. 5 people are in his family. They shared one side of the garage. Another family had the other side of the garage, and the area was separated by a hanging sheet.
So a lot of times, yes, these families are sharing a garage. Maybe they're sharing the living room or a bedroom with another family because that's all they could afford. So that poses a lot of challenges because maybe there's certain routines that maybe a family is used to or cultural differences that pose a lot of questions. Maybe the home is too loud where a student cannot concentrate.
Many times throughout the year, I have students that come in extremely tired. I say, why don't you get to bed by 8 o'clock? You know that's bedtime. We stress that here at school. Well, the other family in the household had been watching television till 11 o'clock at night. I couldn't sleep. How do you argue with something like that? You can't. They're doing the best they can. When we were talking earlier, it's hard for me to have faith that all our students will have the opportunity that I had to attend college. I grew up in Santa Ana myself. I went to a school just around the corner from here. I was 13. My family moved to a nearby city, and the students at that school knew that I had come from Santa Ana and had such a misconception as to what Santa Ana is like. They thought I had to literally walk over dead bodies. They thought that the gang problem was so bad that there were casualties on a daily basis, that you had to hop over them, and let them know that no, there is really no difference amongst the people themselves.
I did go to school here in Santa Ana, kinder through 12th grade. I did notice that a lot of times we were underestimated in our abilities and our capabilities academically, specifically. However, just having that ambition oneself and having that dream of wanting to further one's education, going to college, seeing yourself become a teacher, an engineer, a doctor, is really having those teachers that really did care and really supported you along the way.
John, here we go. 4 times 5.
20.
5 times 2.
10.
3 times 8.
24.
Yep. 10 times 10.
100.
It's cleaning everyone out here. 9 times
Next door from Mrs. Kival, she used to be my teacher last year, and me, my other 2 classmates, every day in after school program, we go help her. We don't really do it for the rewards, mainly we just do it because we like helping.
What does it mean to give back to the community? And that could really be elaborated in many different ways. It could be as simple as working for the community of Santa Ana, or just being an advocate for the students, just making yourself present and just being that role model and having people understand. I was in your shoes at a point. I did go to school here. I sat in the same desk. I was taught by that same principal or that same teacher. And, you know, I mean, there is hope that nothing is impossible. There's always a solution.
I want to study to be a doctor or a veterinarian because I like to help people. And And I think it's a good thing that we're helping other people get cured.
That was my experience, where there was teachers that really supported me, and they saw that I had the ability to go farther and provided me the resources to take my SATs. So really, really walked me through the steps to where I am today. And I'm proud to say, as of this summer, I graduated with my master's in education from Cal State Long Beach, and I'm looking to continue my education and get my credential, and ideally one day become a teacher here in the city of Santa Ana and be able to provide that assistance to those students that do want to further their education and provide them that support and guidance needed.
I grew up in this community. I may not look Latino. I'm married into a Latino family. I feel at home in this community. This is my community. I belong here. It's who I am. It's what I believe in. And I will continue to teach in Santa Ana for the rest of my career. Yeah. So it's not that unusual, is it? Yeah. Okay. Keep reading.
Welcome back. So I have another inspirational story I want to share, and it's about Dawn Loggins. I have her picture here. And if you look at her here, you can't tell much because it's actually her graduation picture from high school. But her story is she was abandoned by her family, became homeless, but her community actually rose up to the occasion and took care of her. And while she was in high school, she was a janitor and she was a student. And now she's a Harvard freshman this semester. So this is one good story and an inspiring story, but I wanted to know from your end, what are some solutions or other avenues you've discovered that can actually maybe help low-income families?
Well, yeah, this is a really great, inspiring example of a way that a community sort of steps up and helps. I also think it's a good example of some of the protective factors that help mitigate against poverty. And that can look like a lot of different things. It can look like an after-school program, extended family, religion, a mentorship program, things like that that really can help people. And I think that there are some avenues, resources that people can take advantage of. It doesn't mean it's going to help everybody, but if you do take advantage of some of these nonprofit programs, after-school programs, things like that, they can really help. And also, there's sort of this new movement that focuses on holistic healing, holistic services, and I think that's so great. Programs that start working with infants really through childhood and through adolescence till they get to college, and those programs can be really helpful.
You know, these are some of the things our volunteers also do, and hopefully from today's presentation, I hope they also take in some of the suggestions you presented. And thank you very much for being here, Kate.
Of course, thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thanks.
And for those of you at home, I hope you enjoyed today's show, and I'll see you next week.